What's going on, guys? My name is Nick, and this is my first video on my YouTube channel where I will be reviewing every single film that the film company A24 has distributed since their first film in 2012 all the way until their most recent outing. And the reason why I'm doing this is because I'm such a huge fan of A24 films. I like how they distribute more distinct styled independent films versus the mainstream films that we get nowadays. And I haven't seen other YouTube channels do this, so I figured why not review every single one, because I feel like it'd be cool to see the overall evolution of how the film company got into the groove of what films they actually wanted to distribute. So without further ado, let's get started with A24's very first film, which I never heard of before, and I'm not sure if a lot of people have heard of, but it's called A Glimpse Inside the Mind of Charles Swan III. And that's definitely a long title. But basically, the film revolves around the main character, Charlie Sheen, who is in the hospital and just broke up with his girlfriend. And it's kind of a weird synopsis, but as a coping mechanism, he imagines all these different fantasies where he is the hero in all these scenarios. And it's kind of a strange plot, but uh, where do I go with this? Yeah, the film doesn't really have a cohesive plot, in my opinion. For the most part, it just seems like an aimless and indulgent, scattered, incohesive story. And during watching the film, I kept asking the question, okay, what's the point of this? What's the point of that? What's the point of this scene? You know, and I was surprised because it has a lot of great actors in it. We got Jason Schwartzman, Bill Murray, Patricia Arquette. Some surprises that I wasn't expecting, like Aubrey Plaza or Elizabeth Winstead pops up at one point. And, you know, one positive that I guess I could say about the film is that it seems like the actors are having a good time filming it, but I myself, as a viewer, personally was not having a good time. I found myself extremely bored, and despite the film being around an hour and 20-ish minutes, it definitely felt like a slog, and I just was waiting for the film to wrap up, unfortunately. And the main character of Charlie Sheen is very, unlikable and uninteresting. You don't really get to delve deep, despite it being a character study on his main character, Charles Swan. And, as as an audience member, I want to have a main character that I latch on to, and to have this unlikable guy as your main star was probably not the best move. And that goes along with the script too. The script is very all over the place, and it doesn't seem to have an idea of where it's going itself. Really, the only positive was Jason Schwartzman out of all the cast stood out. Over the overall acting is it's okay, it's decent. It's like another paycheck to them. It seems like, but there was one or two moments where Jason Schwartzman's character gave me a chuckle, but that's just also because I really am a fan of Jason Schwartzman. I think he's really funny. But overall, despite the amount of talent that was both in front of the screen and also behind the screen. I didn't realize that this was directed until I researched it after, by Roman Coppola, who's Francis Ford Coppola's son. And after looking at the cast, it makes sense because it kind of seems like, a wannabe Wes Anderson film. And come to find out that he's a co-writer with Wes Anderson on many of Wes Anderson's films, which are, a thousand times better than this. So I'm kind of surprised how this film turned out, and how, in a way, how it was made. I mean, I could see how it was made with having that connection and the cast, but just the overall execution was poorly made. And I hate to bash on films, but it's just as a viewer, I just was not having a good time with this film. So, yeah, overall, despite, Jason Schwartzman giving me a chuckle, I just did not have a good time with this film, and I didn't really see the point of it. So by the end of all my film reviews, I would be giving each film a score based out of 10. And for this film, surprisingly, for an A24's first outing, I didn't think I'd give a film this low of a score. And this definitely, if you decide to watch the film, it definitely doesn't seem like an A24 film. It kind of seems like a straight to DVD kind of film or a VOD or something, just something that is kind of put on the shelves and left to the side. But I'm going to give this film, unfortunately, about a 2 out of 10. Solely just because I liked Jason Schwartzman's presence. Everyone else was, like I said, okay. But yeah, as A24's first film, I was definitely surprised, but it's I have more reviews coming out this soon, and like I said, it's going to be in order from when they came out. So this was the very first film, and it's just really cool to see, year by year how A24 has evolved into the film studio that it is now. And I feel like over time they definitely got into the groove of what style and sort of film they wanted to be a part of their distribution company. So, like I said, this is my first time doing this. I hope you guys enjoyed my review, and I hope to connect with fellow film lovers and share my passion of film with all you guys. And I really hope you enjoy my content on this channel if you decide to check it out. So, thank you so much, and I hope you guys enjoy.